Hi guys, good evening, good afternoon where you guys are, but we have someone with a debut today. Kobe, welcome Kobe.
Thank you. I
To have
really
you on
appreciate
board.
it.
Great. Hi Brian and hi Mark. Just a little fun fact, not fun fact, but fact. Kobe and I met at the Emirates. We just happened to be sitting there and I was nosy and I just started a conversation with him and his mum and dad.
Oh
So
yeah.
hence I was like, oh my God, you're going to come on the podcast with us. You'll love it. And you'll love Brian as well. So Kobe has a
No,
lot
of
of
course. I'm
Arsenal friends
excited.
too. He's converted all his friends.
Oh yeah.
Have they converted you, Kobe?
No. Definitely, I was definitely the catalyst, but I wouldn't
Good.
miss an opportunity to ever talk about the club. So I've been looking forward to something like this for
Great.
sure.
Oh, I
So
got a question.
obviously,
I got a question real quick.
go.
What do we think of Tottenham?
Shit,
And what do we think of shit?
Tottenham.
Thank you.
Ironically, you wouldn't believe it, but they literally sang that only probably twice at the stadium yesterday. And I was so
Good.
glad they did that. But anyway, what a great win it was for us. Woohoo! And the
Whoa.
stadium was rocking because I sent it on the group saying, hey, the stadium is rocking. And it really was. Like the seats were moving up and down, the whole stadium was shaking. And the poor fans, Tottenham fans, they were just dribbling out. They'd given up. So they were gone. But anyway, let's talk about the game. Okay. So one of the things I want to start off with is MLS. Miles Lewis Skelly. How was he yesterday?
That dude had himself a game.
Did he not?
That dude had himself a game.
Yep.
I'll let somebody
No,
else.
you carry on. I'm glad. Carry on.
No, I mean, it was funny because as I was watching it, I really didn't see him that much. But that's actually a mark of a good defender. When you don't see him that much, that's when you know how they're having themselves a game. And, digging into the stats, he was never dribbled past. He had 85% of his accurate passes. I think he had like 3 or 4 clearances. He had like 3 passes into the final third. Like he was all over the place.
Yeah.
And yeah, good for him. Good
Yeah.
for him.
I would say he hasn't missed a mark. He's been so consistent since he came in. I know Arteta gave him like 60, 70 minutes prior, but he's putting Zinchenko out of a job. I'm trying to think in terms of
Oh,
Arsenal youth.
it's okay.
Damn,
You're here.
am I lagging still?
Yeah,
Can
you're
you guys
on.
still hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you. Oh,
You
he's
guys still hear
lagging a
me?
bit.
You guys still hear
Okay.
me? All right,
Yeah.
I got a phone call on my phone. I'm trying to think in terms of Arsenal youth players that have come up through the system as fast as him. Really, in a season that Ethan Nwaneri's been, praised. I mean, Lewis Skelly has been just as good, if not better. In terms of fullbacks, young fullbacks that we've had, I mean, I could think of maybe Hector Bellerin or something like that. But the sky's the limit with him. The way he utilizes his body, how calm and composed he is. I saw a clip on Twitter circulating about how Gabriel and Saliba, how they work when he's on the ball. They know how good he is on the ball, so they do not have to panic at all. He'll pick up the ball, can pivot very well, just a lot like Timber. His dribbling going forward and his ball carrying ability as well is so important. Just as a fullback, he offers just so much. So I still think he's underrated in this side. As much praise as he's getting, he can completely transform us. Honestly.
I think he kind of started off in the shadows of Ethan Nwaneri. And then all of a sudden he's given a chance because we've had these injuries and Arteta takes a risk. Now, Mark, that brings us back onto the argument we actually had, right? About these 18-year-olds being picked for the team. But hey, come on. We're only doing what all the other bigger clubs have done, right?
Yeah, no, 100% Seema. And if you're going to be critical, and I was, of saying that the youth isn't there, giving Arteta our time, our praise should be just as loud. And I cannot speak highly enough of this guy. I love Miles Lewis Skelly. Everyone's speaking about Ethan. Ethan, quite rightly, he's a brilliant player. Obviously, he's out injured. But the first time I saw him in the academy and I saw him play, and the way that he was using his body, he was able to drive the ball forward. And it was from midfield. He was unbelievable. And I just knew it's like this kid is destined. Did I think he would be able to put in a performance like yesterday? Back then, no chance whatsoever. But this kid excites me. Like, honestly, there was a point yesterday in the game. He had Sarr turned him, had him on his back, grown man on his back, just folks him off, and he's in. Like, just Tottenham players are around him, and I'm like, pass to Trossard, because there was a pass, and he held it just an extra 2 seconds. And he swept the ball straight through for Raheem, and you're just like, my God. It's like, you're 18-year-old, son. 18-year-old. Yeah. And you're doing this, and you've got the intelligence just to say, there's no panic here. And I honestly see that you could bookmark this. This kid is all playing left back at the moment. He is headed for our midfield. There is no doubt whatsoever.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say is like he's naturally a midfielder. You know, that's if I recall correctly. You know, him coming through the academy. That's kind of where he's been training. And this may be a hot take, but there was one kid that started off as left back, and now plays on the right wing.
Yeah.
So there might be something there. there might be something there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, apparently he's under Gabriel's, sort of mentoring. So he's in right hands. He's got that enthusiasm that we all saw that yesterday, right? He's given the yellow card, how the Tottenham players were just pushing him off the field, and he was citing the crowd, and the crowd were going with it. They were loving all that.
Yeah, there's something about him just coming through the youth academy that I think obviously that the club just gravitates to. So like he's making the right moves to obviously be a fan favorite in a time that we are grasping onto any extra energy we can grab with injuries and the adversity we've been facing. So him doing that yesterday is just like raising his value as a player to the fans and to the club. I mean, to do that against Tottenham at home at the Emirates, and he's pumping the crowd up and like getting yellows and in that fight on the corner is just perfect. He's playing his cards right if he wants to be the next guy here. So I mean, it's a joy to watch right now.
See, the thing that puts a resemblance for me with Starboy and Saka is how humble he is. Mm-hmm. That's there. He's not like a kid that like is waiting to throw his life away and go off the rails or all the fame and like that new contract. I believe Arsenal are waiting to give him a new contract as well, quite rightly so. But he's very humble, very down to earth.
Yeah.
So he's got good people around him, just like calm down and like bring it back down.
Do you think that that's part of the academy training too? Yes. So these kids don't run ahead of themselves and think they're the best. So they're taught. I mean, I'm not saying Saka, he's exceptional. He is truly humble because we've seen it when he plays for England. But, all these 16, 17, there's that 14-year-old still waiting to come through the academy, right?
Yeah.
Because he's already playing with the under 21s. Okay. But now they're all firing through. And it's kind of started with, the Cities and the Liverpools, they've been bringing their academy players through. And why do you think he stepped up in the North London derby but not in the FA Cup? Because he was nervous. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, first I want to say talking about the mindset and the attitude of people coming to the academy. Yes, our guys are very humble. I will also say that you really don't hear about Arsenal players being on, what do you call it, like the back page over there, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yes, there's the one rumor that's floating around out there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you don't hear about people getting in trouble. You hear people, you only hear good things about people. And shit, what was the question? I forgot. I went down that rabbit hole.
No, that was part of it. But why do you think he stepped up at the North London derby? Because it's such a hype. Because he was very nervous in that first 10, 15 minutes of the FA Cup with Man United. And you could see it. You could see it.
So I think You know, Kobe, you were talking about how he's really, you know, not ingratiating himself, but like, you know, he's getting hype and everything like that. And I think, you know, with the FA Cup game, people weren't as hyped for it as they were for the game yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think you really feed off that energy. And if fans are getting behind you, you know, you are going to be more confident. You know, you are going to try more stuff. Like what was it, like the first 15, 20 minutes, something yesterday? We were playing them off the park. Like it was, it could have gotten ugly, you know. Then they kind of grew into the game, but you know, like our players fed off that energy, and I think that's why he was. I think that's why he was a little nervous during the FA Cup game, because the energy wasn't there.
Yeah.
If
I
I,
mean, go on, Cody.
no, the only thing I have to say, and I totally agree with you, but it's almost like a bad thing about how dependent we are on external factors. It's like the energy, right? Like when we go down, we start playing much more direct, and then we start playing how we should have been playing before we went down. And I've noticed that. So it's like, yes, it's a North London derby. Yes, it's in the Premier League. Yes, it's at home. But I almost feel like we should always be playing with that intensity. Like we go down early at home versus Spurs. Like I don't want to get off topic, but like that United match at home against 10 men, we at the Emirates, like we are better than that. We needed a result there. I hate the fact that this season we are always relying on external factors to kind of like, hey, like kick us in the butt a little bit to be like, hey, wake up. So totally agree with you about benefiting from them, but I hate that we rely on them this season, and it just drives me crazy.
Well, I'm going to give you a fact, Kobe. So the first half we had 64% possession. Okay, to Spurs is 37%, right? The second half we only had 44%, and they had 55. How do you relate to that? The atmosphere was still electric. It was brilliant.
100%, and 100%. And I was talking to a couple of my buddies, and lately Arteta kind of refers to it. You see different people online said, "Oh, but we dominated." The word dominating to me is a bit odd. Did we dominate possession? Yes. A lot of teams will sit in low blocks to absorb us, to let us dominate possession, because they know they want to counter. They want to counter with Son. They want to counter with Solanke. They want to counter with Kulusevski.
Yeah.
They're okay with that. They are okay with us dominating. So when people will watch us play and they'll say, "Oh, we're dominating," I 70% possession is awesome, but when we're just passing it around, waiting for an overlap, and then crossing it in every time, I'm like, it doesn't seem very dominating when the other team's chances are much more threatening.
Yeah.
Because Kulusevski, I believe it was Kulusevski, had a chance at the near post. I mean, towards the end, Pedro Porro had a shot that hit the post as well, and granted, Trossard kind of like a moment of brilliance early. He's a great ball striker when he's on, and another corner kick. So. I'm not trying to be, exactly. I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but this ongoing possession dominant style, we just, in my personal opinion, we just need to create a little bit more direct chances. That's it.
I mean, that was the only thing I think he needs to work on. We could see they were ready for the breaks. Mm-hmm. So were we, though. And this is something that we haven't done in a long time. We were actually running back to cover ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. That was brilliant. The splits came in, right? Bit of gymnastics there.
Oh my goodness. That was I don't think that's been talked about enough. He made him look horrible. He did a little Cruyff turn over there, Trossard on Pedro Porro. Oh my gosh. The fact I thought Pedro Porro was injured. Like I thought he was like
I did too.
They were gonna have to.
But why did the ref stop the game?
Well, I don't know why
they thought he was injured.
Yeah, but
his knee.
It wasn't a head injury.
Yeah, that was underrated. Underrated skill from Trossard there. That was gross. Like, ugh, that was tough.
What was your
that was filthy. That was filthy.
Yeah, if we would have scored or had a chance from that, it would have been all over everywhere. It still made a little bit of traction on social media, but
Yeah.
it really should have got a lot more.
A lot.
He really, yeah.
I felt sorry for him. He's got kids to feed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not like you.
Yeah, no, honestly, I watched it and I'm just like, my God, what have you just done, Trossard? It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
Genius.
Yeah,
They,
oh, go ahead, Kobe. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say real quick that I don't want to say credit to Spurs, but they fielded a lot of young players yesterday, and they just with Big Ange, like sometimes they just look off the mark, like they don't have an identity. I don't feel bad for them personally. I don't care. I still don't feel like I
Yeah.
have no remorse, especially for Son against City last season with that sitter
Yeah.
that he missed.
Yeah.
But they were just a weird side yesterday. So I definitely think good result, good 3 points. But I do believe that like United was a tougher 11 for us to play.
Tougher
So
10.
yeah, 10 exactly. Like
Yeah.
maybe United with 10 was harder than Spurs with 11 yesterday. So
See if I could add to what Kobe's
Yeah.
was saying, and you're absolutely right. You could dominate and have 70% possession, but if you're passing the ball slowly and it's around and they're still back 10, we're not breaking down low blocks. And if I've got any criticism at all at Arsenal yesterday, and it is like it's a small criticism, is we are struggling with low blocks so bad. And I actually think the only way that we could change how to get around the low blocks is not asking our wingers to pile back all the time and defend.
Yeah.
Other teams keep them up there. I mean, even yesterday, for instance, Spurs set up in a way where they left two up for every corner and they just separated the pitch.
Yeah.
So, and they've done that and they forced Arsenal were like, fair play, we'll just put 1-on-1. We'll handle this, we'll go 1-on-1 and luckily we did. But I wonder if Arsenal should maybe try and tweak that a bit. So we could also play a bit as in transition.
yeah.
Well, if you're
I
looking
think
at
that's maybe because the low block, we just don't seem to get around it. But the obvious thing, and I'm sure we'll get into it, Seema, the obvious thing is we need a striker. We need an goal scorer because we created enough against Man United and also the Tottenham game to because we should have won that game yesterday 5-6-1.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, Mark, you were talking about how, like, I think that having to pull the wingers back, that's a tactical thing with Arteta,
Yes.
because if he's inverting the fullback, which we all know I fucking hate, but if you're inverting the fullback, you still need to pull somebody back to be able to cover if a diagonal ball goes down the side.
Yeah.
And so if you play with the back four, you'll have that coverage. And you can keep those wingers up there in a true 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Arteta is married to his tactics, though, and so we are going to need a Gyökeres, a Benjamin Sesko, which apparently we've been linked with today. Like, we need somebody like that. We need
that plan. We do need that plan B. That's the thing. Because at the start, I think the last podcast, and Seema brought out the start, and I think it was we had 20 odd crosses and there was 0 came out of it.
Yeah.
So that to me just tells that we need like I didn't say it, but even in the form that he's in this season, we had a Chris Wood up there. It would at least be a plan B to what we've got.
So,
I'm not saying he's the answer, but it would be a plan B.
Technically, plan B was Sterling.
Ugh.
I mean, that's just it. That's exactly how I thought yesterday.
He looked horrible.
What on earth was he doing? Because he kept slowing the game down.
Him and Havertz, like Havertz too. I hate slandering Havertz because I really have a lot of faith in him. But the last 2 matches have been really tough to watch. His legs look heavy. It looks like he's running with cinder blocks attached to his legs. And that one play where mentioned before, where Lewis Skelly slid in Sterling and he like stopped with the ball right in front of the keeper. I have no idea what was going on. And one more thing, real quick, if I just may reference the 4-3-3, spot on with everything you said. But I would say in terms of inverted fullbacks and the different roles for the wingers, 100% of 4-3-3, 100% we're playing inverted wingers, but I wouldn't say that it's symmetrical. I would say he demands different things from different sides. So like that right side when it's firing with like the starters with Saka and Ben White, so many overlaps. Left side right now has been an issue. Left-hand side has been such an issue. We cannot seem to nail down the tactics going forward. And especially like we are so dependent on where the ball is to our adjusted formation. So if the ball's on the right and Ben White, it'll bring the left center, either the left center mid or the left fullback will go in, and it's almost too complicated that I just really think the left side needs some tweaking right now, and like
Yeah.
it needs a cemented. I don't know. We don't have a Saka on the left, so it's just
Yeah.
like troubling.
Well, I think you kind of hit it there when you say we need cemented on the left. I mean, we've had MLS on at the left back. We've had Calafiori at the left back. We've had Tamayasu at the left back. We've had Zinchenko at the left back. We've had my boy KT at the left back. Like
Hell yeah.
everybody has been playing there, this season. And because you can't get the consistency like you did when you had Ben White and Saka on the right side, you're not going to have that consistency.
Yeah.
I also just want it noted in the log that Kieran Tierney had himself a game yesterday too.
He's been balling. He has been balling. So I don't want to sound crazy. I don't think I do sound crazy to you especially after that statement.
Yeah.
So the way he whips in, we need a player that delivers the crosses that he delivers. He delivers crosses like better than anybody else. Like so I don't understand because he delivered a ball in against United that was beautiful. Delivered in a ball and
nobody got to the spot.
Yeah, he can pick out a spot. Like I think he offers the team something. I know he's planning on going back to Celtic, which he's been awesome just as an Arsenal player. Like understand injury. Like he's just been everybody at the club loves him. He's a professional. I think there's room for him, even though we're in 2 competitions left, Prem and Champions League. Let Zinchenko. I don't know. Tomiyasu injured. Kieran Tierney, he's back. He looks good. He plays with passion. Like everybody loves him. So I don't know.
See, that's the thing I want to touch up on. And I don't know about you, Mark, if you've sort of read the chatter. I read the chatter on some of the groups, and I'm disgusted. Why the hell did he take off him and bring Tierney on? Like, why? Why not?
What do you mean, Miles Skelly?
Well, yeah. I mean, even bringing him on, bringing Tierney on.
No.
I thought he brought Tierney on for Trossard.
No, he did. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he brought him on for Trossard. But that kind of shows for me that how bad our squad is up in attacking positions right now. But we're bringing on a left back as a left winger. And so that did have to happen. But I actually agree. I think, see, if you've got inverted fullbacks, I think that you just need to, like, on one side invert, and on the other side just bomb forward. And there's never been any stability on our left-hand side, as Kobe said, since Granit Xhaka was here. We had a pairing of Thomas Partey and Xhaka in the midfield, and we saw the best of Martinelli out of that. And I don't think the stability is not there. You're not seeing the same. Declan Rice yesterday. I'm sure we're going to move into him, and please let me speak about him because, wow. But KT, I agree. I think KT still has something to offer. But what's the way to happen is we're going to pay up the rest of his wages, and we're going to release him from his contract, give him a free transfer back to Celtic. Now, personally, I think he deserves that for what he's brought to Arsenal Football Club. He's been that good. But I agree. I still think this player can give us something. Yeah. He is so professional. He's so humble. The guy turns up at training in a Tesco bag. He's not turning up at training in his Ferrari. He's coming to training in the snow wearing like a T-shirt. I'm from Scotland.
Yeah.
This is it. So everything about Kieran Tierney is just perfect. It's the right mentality. Bring it in the dressing room. He's a good character. He's everything. And I've watched him long enough because I'm obviously from Scotland. So I've watched the kid long enough, and he is. I still think I agree with Kobe. I 100%. I would keep him at the club, but I know it's not going to happen. But I would like that to happen. I really would.
One thing about him, real quick, is it just came to me. He doesn't overcomplicate the game. He's a very elementary style player, and when you think about our 11, we don't really have a player like him. No. It's not a knock on him by any means, but he's a very simple player. He's good at what he's good at, and he's a solid defender. and he offers something going forward. He's not gonna take on many players or whatever, but he can. We've seen it in the past. He's beaten players before. He's a good fullback. He's a good player. We need simplicity in certain areas, and I think he offers simplicity.
He's also only 27-year-old.
Mhm.
27-year-old.
Yeah.
It's not like he's 31 and we're saying,
Yeah.
right, it's time to move on. He's 27.
Yeah. I mean, Tomiyasu, Calafiori, injuries, like Zinchenko unreliable. I mean,
are those guys made out of cotton wool or something? Because I mean, he's literally been in the club 10 minutes, Calafiori, and he's been injured more than he's actually played.
Yeah. I will say his goal versus City was just
it was stunning. And also he didn't know why he ran over to Arteta.
Yeah.
That was quite funny. Right, you touched on Rice.
I still don't know that he meant to do that. I still don't know.
He didn't. He didn't mean to do it. It just happened that way. But you touched on Rice, okay, Mark. I just want to give you a little stat about Rice because it felt like Rice was working a hell of a lot during the game, right? But he only had 34 passes. In comparison, Miles Skelly had 32 and Timber had 33. But yet it looked like Rice was working much harder than the rest.
Declan Rice was honestly, that was one of the best performances I've seen from him in an Arsenal shirt. I like have these arguments with Arsenal fans all the time. They think Declan Rice is a sex, etc. Don't like unless you're bringing Miles into the left 8 position, keep him. Declan Rice is a box to box. His engine is unbelievable. Like, oh man, I seen Miles Skelly got an 8 in some of the rankings. And Declan got a 7. And like you've been seeing, Declan for me was an easy 9 yesterday. I thought honestly, he knew what it meant to the fans. He knew what the fixture was about, and he gave it everything. And then
he hasn't fully experienced the proper North London derby. He joined us last season. It wasn't he really wanted to get into it, and experience it, and he stepped up because I bet Spurs versus West Ham wasn't as all that, right?
No, wouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, how far did he run yesterday?
That's the stat I couldn't get up. I wanted to get that stat. And I
would have liked to see that.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that.
There is a website for that, but I just couldn't remember it at the time. So
I like the way he played yesterday. I like when he plays like that. I still don't. I completely agree with you, Mark, 100%. I think he needs to be used that way. That's why I like when Partey plays with him, because Partey can sit and Rice can go forward. If he's got the wheels and he's got the legs to play like that, absolutely. Like he needs to just get a little bit more comfortable carrying the ball forward. He had a chance at the end of the match where he kind of was like on the 18 and didn't really know what to do with it. But if he can offer the offense, the attack going forward, then he's solid.
But hi Daniel. Meet the guys.
Good evening. Daniel, what's up, dude?
One of the things I want to bring up is what Rice said in his interview. Shut those bloody plastic fans off. I give him this. It was brilliant. I'm so glad there was a player that could speak up for it and just zip them, because they're not real fans. They don't bring it. So
see the way that he said it as well. It was just pure class. It wasn't like a cheap dig.
It wasn't, was it? It was like so serious and so like.
I use this. I have used this, and I do get attacked all the time. But I say disconnected fans.
Yeah.
I call them disconnected fans.
Yeah.
And he basically came out in a more elegant way to explain exactly what I meant. As you know, if you go to the Emirates, you just get Arsenal fans that love the club, full of passion, you're right behind the club, etc. And then you have a certain aspect, I'm saying certain, I'm not stereotyping everyone, but are just disconnected from the football club.
Yeah.
They're disconnected from the football club. And that for me was actually, I'm giving them a 10 for yesterday. Yeah. He's just a 10 for that interview.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually really, really annoyed by a certain influencer TV channel that has not used their clout to shut those fans up about Kai Havertz and his wife and their unborn child. No one has the right No human being has the right to do that. But I hope Arsenal, they've employed a certain security internet company to track them down. Hopefully they'll be able to find out. But anyway, let's move on from that. Daniel, your take on yesterday, because you missed the
Yeah. Before the game, sorry guys.
You dare bring any negativity. No. Okay.
I just want to say good evening to everybody, the listeners and the viewers we have out there watching from, and also good evening to the gentleman and the lovely lady over there. And sorry guys for coming.
And Brian.
Sorry for coming.
I was a bit saying the same, Brian, exactly the same.
Oh, God. He's going to talk about the ref.
No.
I was waiting for that.
Hey, come back. We want to know about the ref. What was your take on that supposedly corner? Oh, he's gone. He's gone for a little while. Okay, while he's gone, there's just one thing I want to track on because we're talking about what people said. We talk about play. Gary Neville. What did he have to say about Nicholas Jova, the set piece coach?
Yeah.
I saw that today. Did you see it, Kobe? You come for it, bro.
Yeah, I saw it. I just read about it not too long ago. He was saying he's the. I could be wrong. What I read, I think he said something like he's one of the most unlikable individuals in football right now. I can't stand him. Like when a goalkeeper, when a goalkeeper makes a save, like
Kobe, his quote was the most annoying man in football.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it was Gary Neville saying this.
Yeah, Gary Neville said it, and on his podcast.
Yeah, they don't have anything better to talk about.
Sorry?
Does Gary Neville not have mirrors in his house?
Yeah, well, not only that, was Gary Neville a footballer at one point? Because somebody would have taught him how to play as a United player.
He was also a manager, no? He didn't do too well over there. He was also a manager, no? He didn't do too well.
Yeah, he was at, I think he was at Sevilla and like completely
that's because he didn't have the team that actually built the players to make the team to go and play on the pitch. So where does he get the idea that we're not allowed to put up a mural of the guy that's created one of the most impressive centre-backs to become a goal scorer?
Yeah. What did Xhaka say? He's like, when it's Arsenal, it's different. Like, I mean, it's true. They don't have anything to talk about. They always talk about Arsenal.
Oh my God. Sorry, Kobe. Hi, Emerson. It's so good to see you on. Please bring in your stats. I'm waiting for you. Emerson's a really good guy. He's been on the show. And but I'm so glad you're on, Emerson. Carry on, Kobe.
Oh, no. It's just, there's so many. It's just, when there's not enough news, you just dig into Arsenal and what's going on there. And then that's what they talk about.
I reckon he's just jealous, right, Brian? He's just jealous.
I mean, like I've always wondered because as long as I've been a fan, as long as I've had, the ability to be as plugged into the club, into the Premiership or Premier League, whatever the hell we call it now.
Yeah.
As long as I've been able to be plugged into it, they hate us. Absolutely hate us. I don't know if it's because, because of the Invincibles. I don't know if it's because Arsene Wenger came over and changed everything. I don't understand it. I really don't. I really don't.
I reckon it's more also because we're second and they're 14.
Yeah.
Could it be?
Do you know what I find? Steve? Gary Neville is the same guy that calls Arteta micromanagers for every detail, and he does too much on the touchline. However, he thinks that Arteta wouldn't. If Arteta found out a problem that Nicholas is coming up for when we've come set pieces, standing beside him, Arteta would micromanage him and say, sit back down. Yeah. And he doesn't. He doesn't at all. So, Gary, read it, weep it, enjoy it. We're going to keep doing it.
Exactly. I mean, we're actually learning different types of set pieces now as well. So, we're not just the set piece kings, or what's it called?
Set piece again, ole ole.
No, was it? Oh my God, I'll remember
What's
it.
he meant?
Anyway.
Seamus, did the last podcast that we were on, you actually mentioned that, and I watched it again. But
Yeah.
there's a free kick from Declan Rice, and
Yes.
he scored. And honestly, it's one of the best set pieces I've ever
Best
seen in
one.
my life. We should have scored that. See if we scored
Yeah.
that, it would have been all over everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you guys
look at this
remember
thing.
it? It's actually where he didn't even kick it high. He just kicked it along the floor.
Yeah.
And he
Kicked
caught
it.
everybody off.
Yeah.
Caught everybody off. And
Mhm.
they sort of like want to do those little surprises now, and which is great.
There was one time yesterday that
Yeah.
I thought Odegaard should have went for it and should have
Yeah.
shot
Yeah.
that they didn't. So like I don't want to rely too heavily on these looping balls to the far
Yeah.
post.
Yeah.
A little creativity is good. I'm not complaining. I love the set pieces and all the goals. I just there was one time. That's all I'm saying.
Do you not think, Kobe, see, when it comes to Odegaard at the moment, I just think he's coming back from illness and he's building up his confidence. And yesterday, he was outstanding as well. We should give him flowers for yesterday. But I think in front of goal, I just think there's a lot about lack of confidence with Odegaard.
Yeah.
And although the penalty was good against Man United, I thought it was a good penalty. It was just a good save. I'm not taking anything away from Odegaard. It didn't do his confidence any good whatsoever.
Great point.
And that's it. So that's maybe why he's not. Maybe last season, Kobe, you're up 100% right. Odegaard probably fires that in the top corner or etc. But I just think the confidence is just maybe in front of goals, just working with them a bit.
Well, you
100%.
Yeah, you can notice the confidence between the United game and yesterday's game. I mean, Odegaard didn't seem like he was actually in the game in the United one. He wasn't like edging his players, whereas yesterday it was like a full-on. He was in the game. He was part and parcel leading the team, and that's the kind of thing I think he didn't have at the United game. I don't know if you guys saw that. I felt that.
I gotta jump off real quick. So let me just
Go ahead.
Take the deck on the con here. Like I think again that it's Derby versus FA Cup. I will also say, Odegaard has his new kid, and so having twin toddlers right now, I know how hard it can be to adjust to your sleep schedule and to get the help and everything that you need. And the longer his kid has been here, the more he's able to get into a routine. Like it's almost physiological. I don't think it's psychological. It's like, hey, now I'm figuring out how to sleep. Now I'm figuring out how to eat again. And so, yeah, you do have the hype from the derby, but I think it's more physiological in that he's able to be.
Right, I'm gonna put something in there for you, right? So I follow another footballer, girlfriend. Okay, they've had a baby. The baby's a year old now, just over a year old. So she talks about this, okay, and she says that whenever this player has a game, he does not sleep in the same room as the mum and the baby. Okay,
that makes sense. It makes sense.
Very sensible. So why is Odegaard not doing that? I mean, he could put a precedence in because Kai Havertz is going to have a baby.
Yeah.
So is Jesus, and then whoever else is going to be pregnant. Hopefully, it won't be Saka and his girlfriend, right?
Oh my gosh, please no.
Because he's off sick, right?
I was saying he's recovering from surgery, dude. Yeah. No, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, there was a funny tweet I read, and it was like Odegaard hasn't delivered since the child, and I was like, damn.
Do you know what? See, man, that's actually a true thing. I used to deliver do deliveries for a living, and when I had my first child, I was driving. I was having to drive over 300 miles per day, and it's a lot. By the way, and sometimes in horrendous weather as well, I had to do that. So when I had my first child, I actually stopped sleeping in the same room Monday to Friday, Sunday to Thursday night as my wife and the child. Yeah. It's like I can't afford. I had to be awake at like 4:30 in the morning. So there was like, I cannot do without sleep. It's just like, it's dangerous for me to be out there without sleep doing it. So I think that is a very good point. And it's maybe something that these guys need to do. It's just kind of take their self.
She also talks about when it's his day off, he does do the baby, the feeding, the night. She gets the break. But for the 5 days or 6 days that he's out training, he doesn't take on the full responsibilities, but match days, the day before he'll sleep in, oh, look, Kobe's laughing. He's thinking,
all right, guys.
It's
Kobe,
funny.
it was really nice meeting you, man. Seema, Mark.
Thank you, Brian.
And we'll see you later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk to
see
you
you
soon.
later.
Brian. Thanks, Brian.
He's doing the baby duties at the He's gonna
Yeah.
It's funny. It's such a behind the scenes type thing. I mean, good for him. Like, and also like Kai Havertz and the team is so close that like these outside of football life occurrences are happening at the same time for them. So that's great.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk like we're his form will come back to normal. Like he's adjusting to fatherhood. But right now, like we're kind of just skating by. We're just skating by. We can't like people's form needs to improve or we will start slipping. It's like we are just at this level. Like I think we're underperforming. So hopefully Odegaard's on the rise. Hopefully like Havertz is on the rise because we can't. I don't think. I mean, I think who do we play next? Villa next.
Next.
Yeah, like
So
I don't
Liverpool
know.
played Brentford, and Brentford came back from a 2-0 down against City.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. We just need to play. We need to perform. We need to perform.
Perform and believe that we can do it.
This is where my frustration comes out of the football club.
Yeah.
So it's the only negative that I could put in. It's obvious that we need help right now. And a body or two coming in could just energise everyone.
Yeah.
And bring
there are rumours, right?
There is rumours.
Benjamin Sesko.
It's saying that what I heard today, which I'm not following all the reports because I done that last January and I got Raheem Sterling. So last summer we got Raheem Sterling. So I'm not following any reports whatsoever. But I did hear today that that would be a summer move. So I think that Arsenal are looking for a loan move to get us to the summer, and then we take the forward that we want, rather than panic buy. So. And I'm okay for the club to do that, but it's like, don't do it on like 16th of January. Like, I know it's hard. Do it on the first. Do it on the 1st of January. And I use this example all the time. The way Arsenal roll, we wanted Thomas Partey, and we pissed off Liga, but Atletico. And all we had to do was go up and say, "There's 40 million release clause. There's your money. Give with the player." When did we do it? The 1st of January or the 31st of January?
31st, of course.
And that is the problem with, and that is this is a problem with my club. This is what annoys the living daylights out of me, because it's like, we need it now. We need the help now.
Yep.
Right now.
Yeah, and Mark, I agree with you 100%, and I think you can agree with me here. I never advocate for panic buys at all, and that's not what I'm saying. We need a body. I'm almost calculated risk at this point. I would always advocate for a Premier League proven player or someone that has already played maybe internationally or at previous clubs with somebody in the starting 11.
Yeah.
But right now, I just want someone that can score goals, like that has been established in any league. Like I said, preferably if I had the choice, it would be someone from the Prem, with familiarity. But right now, it's almost like we need the body. If Havertz went down, God forbid, if Havertz went down, how would we line up? How would we line up?
Yeah.
Trossard in the middle. I'd be Trossard in the middle, Sterling on the right, and Martinelli on the left, and that would be it. You wouldn't have any other options.
Yeah,
No.
you wouldn't.
Or you keep Kieran Tierney in and play him as a left winger. It's like serious, but it's.
So Benjamin Sesko, he is with Leipzig, and he would be able to play in the Champions League.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and he has a good goal scoring rate with them.
Yep.
I think he's scored like 14 goals or something already.
Yeah,
So,
he has the archetype for an Arsenal type forward. I feel like I always beat it into the ground, but he reminds me of a Van Persie. Everybody said Havertz is like a Van Persie. Sesko's like a Van Persie.
Yeah.
We need like a Van Persie or like a Giroud type player. I don't want any of these like pseudo strikers that Aubameyang, he goes out to the wing, false nine, yada yada. Just get me a traditional striker.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's what I want. A powerhouse. I want someone that, like, my plan B is a powerhouse. Someone that'll pick the ball up and just drive. And if it's against a low block, then he's going to hit it from
exactly.
freaking yards if he needs
Yep.
to. And so Sesko falls into that category.
Yep.
100%.
Both Sesko and Gyökeres have great ball striking ability. Like
Yeah.
we've seen that. We need that. I like I said before, like I loved Giroud. Like yes, he drove me crazy, but he was a traditional striker and he scored some
Yeah.
incredible goals. He scored some incredible goals. And for the way we're playing with these crosses, I don't we just need a player like that. I don't you know.
See, to come back to the defence of Havertz, I've always said this, right? Because I think Arsenal fans get confused. Maybe I see football differently. But he was brought in as a midfielder. No, he was brought in as a false nine. I actually think that Havertz is a 9.5. And that may sound silly, but I think he should be playing directly behind the striker. He's a link up from the midfield to the striker. And if it's knock-ons, block-ons, causing havoc in that area, and you just got an out striker sitting there. I want Arteta to move away from the false nine.
Yeah.
It's
Nah, I agree.
Different.
Do you think that maybe Arteta's given, all these players a little bit more leeway into running around the pitch?
Certain players, I think he's given certain players too much leeway. Some players he
Okay.
doesn't give enough
Like
leeway.
who? Like who?
I mean, for example, I love him to death. He's like the star boy of the club, but Saka, like Saka could have played a little bit less minutes and we still would have been totally fine. Saka tracks back, yada yada yada. And like I said before, previously, like I think the instructions to different players are different. Like I don't think he wants Martinelli to do what Saka does. It's not symmetrical. It's not like a symmetrical task. Like, hey, you play right wing and you play left wing.
Yeah.
Both wingers are asked to do the same thing. No, because they have completely different skill sets. Martinelli and Saka are completely different players. Completely different players. So I think I don't know what he really wants from Martinelli. I mean, Martinelli does track back, yes, but like it's almost better if he doesn't track back because he is so pacey going forward. And if
Yeah.
he could just kind of pinch Martinelli a little bit more centrally and
Yeah.
almost play him as a striker, which we saw years ago when he was 30 when he was number 35 or 53 or whatever,
Yeah.
when he scored against Chelsea when
Yeah.
N'Golo Kante tripped at Stamford Bridge years ago.
Yeah.
I think the leeway that he's given certain players is like he just needs to exploit their talents a bit more and kind of try to just play a little bit less predictable. I think we've been so predictable with dominating possession and getting down and just swinging the ball back and forth.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit our 11 right now.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I think there was a point where Martinelli was actually on the right, and
I
he
did
had
see
a
that.
clear-
I did, and I liked that. I like that.
Yeah,
Totally
but he
like
had a clear angle of shooting, but he didn't shoot. And Andres and I just looked at each other, and Andres an ex-footballer, and he looked at me and goes to me, "Why the hell did he not shoot?" And I went, "Look where he is."
Yeah, on the right. Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
why?
I think-
He stayed on his side on the left and would have been fine.
I think Kobe's brought up a brilliant point there, and you did earlier where you say Arteta at times overcomplicates. There's too much information going in for the players to do. Where if you had Ancelotti, he just sets his team up and says, "Go and do your thing." So it's polar opposites to each other, and I think that it could be a bit of that in there because I actually get frustrated at Saka at times when he's playing. I don't see him trying to get to the byline as much as he should. He always tries to cut in on his left. I kind of think at times that Saka could be predictable. And then on the other wing, you've got Martinelli being so predictable as well because he'll not cut in and he always go around. And it's like, guys, like freaking mix it up a bit more. Like mix it up and let these defenders have something or these fullbacks have something to think about. But I don't think we do that enough. But I don't know if that's Arteta overdoing it with them or just saying to the players, just take the shackles off. Last season, this same team were smashing teams 5-6-0 away from home.
Yeah.
We were emptying stadiums at half time.
That was the echo. Yes, in the stadium, there was bury the game, get the goal, bury it. Do not.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want that anxiety, right?
No, And I agree with what Declan Rice said about the fans at the Emirates, and I believe that those are the once you make it to the Emirates, you support your club, you're there. Like, I totally agree with him. I also agree, like, I mean, I don't agree with AFTV. I don't agree with a lot of the controversial,
Yeah.
destructive, hateful opinions. But as a supporter, like, you can demand that from your team. There's nothing wrong with say, hey, we know, like I said before, we are underperforming.
Yeah.
We're skating by, but we're underperforming. But as a fan, there's nothing wrong with saying, like, with not booing, but getting frustrated when we're not shooting, getting
Yeah.
a little loud. There was times where the fans were, audibly frustrated. Like,
Yeah.
you could tell it's like, hey, we need to put this game away. We don't need to win 2-1. Yes, we'll take the result, but like Mark said, we have put 4, 5, 6. I think we scored 6 this
Yeah.
year, right? 6
Yeah.
past clubs, and we can do that.
Yeah.
Why aren't we? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
But that's because the confidence of a couple of players have come down, and that's all it takes. And then you start
yeah,
scoring goals. And
yeah,
you look at some of the misses that we've had. Declan Rice header against Man United, for instance. I mean,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you would expect him to bury that. Kai
yeah,
Havertz, well, I don't want to touch on Kai, but
Yeah.
yeah,
it's,
One of the things, right? So as I was walking into the stadium, I bumped into Peter Crouch doing an interview with 2 Arsenal fans.
yeah.
And as the interview finished, obviously they were very positive, saying, we've got this. It's the North London derby. We're going to win. Blah blah blah. And as the interview, finished, and he went off air, he's going, "Oh, so how was that, guys?" To his team, he goes, "Yeah, very, very. There's very 2 optimistic fans here."
yeah,
Excuse me. You're at the Emirates, right?
yeah. It's different. People expect it to be. I don't know. That's why this like whole wall of like anonymity on social media just like provides nothing. It provides nothing. And I'll tell you what, it ultimately drives me the craziest during the transfer market, because it is so it's just so there's no it's just all claims. It's just there's no,
Yeah.
because people know that they'll click Arsenal are interested in so and so. It's like,
And I
it's
love what Paul Merson said. I don't know if you've heard this as well. He said it, I think, this morning. Arsenal being knocked out of the FA Cup was actually a blessing in disguise, because we
Yeah.
have one less game to play.
yeah,
We can now concentrate on the Champions League. We don't have to worry about doing an extra game, whenever it's in the week or whatever. We can concentrate on Champions League and Premier League. Because
Well,
basically,
look
we're
at
going to go for the Carabao Cup. We're not going to do it, because we've already decided in our heads we're not going to do it, because we don't need to. We can concentrate. Champions League has the most money. That's what we want to. We're sitting pretty okay,
yeah,
in the league, and then the Premier League. It's ours for the taking now.
yeah. And this might sound crazy, but I think in terms of world football right now, yeah, I know we're second. I know we're second in the Prem,
Yeah.
but in terms of world football, like, we are not off. We are not that far off from, like, I'm not going to say the best club in the world, but there's a lot of clubs in world football right now that are like that are somewhat struggling. We are not.
Yeah.
We
We're
are
still
not
in the game.
I would say we're on the border of a top 5 club in the world. It's not, and it hasn't always been like that. It hasn't always been like that, but we've done well in the Champions League. We
Well,
have, like,
that's why
lately.
the likes of Gary Neville are coming for us, because
Mhm.
they can't take it.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
just I wanna just touch on the ref. What kind of game do you think he had? Was it a good game? Was it an average
mean,
game? Because obviously the Tottenham fans are all screaming that he was on our side.
Yeah. You
What
can
do you
go, Mark.
I would just say,
Where are you?
yeah, he is trying to get back on, but
Yeah.
I would actually say that I don't know who the ref was, so therefore he's had a good game. When Trossard kicked that ball and it came back off the Trossard and went out, the referee's got 2 things to think about there, and I think he thinks Trossard's off the pitch as the ball strikes him.
Yeah.
He's out. However, I'll draw back to Newcastle.
There we go. Yep.
So get it up, you Tottenham. Love
Yeah.
it. I'm glad we scored off that corner. I'm delighted.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
It's such a was it the wrong call? Yes, but like, it's such a bang bang call.
Yeah.
I have, like, we have been the victim of much worse, and I will say, though, the official did well, I think, with like the disciplinary. I know there were multiple cards I know even Lewis Skelly got one. I didn't mind that at
Yeah.
all. I thought he kept the he kept a potentially chippy, Derby under wraps. I mean, yes, they missed one call that led to a corner, but I felt like we had like 15 corners yesterday, so like that could have not been a
I
goal.
did have the
And
stat up earlier, and I've
I
just
think
taken it
it's
down.
10.
So, but I did have. There was quite a few. Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
40.
so it didn't have to be a goal either
Yeah,
way. It was just a one random corner. It
yeah.
was a bang bang call. It happens. Like
And
Newcastle,
I think his yellow card was the lead up. There was something happening before they pushed him off to be replaced, right? So there
yeah,
was something that was going on. There was a scuffle in the box or something
yeah.
because there was going to
I
be.
I I do think he also issued a yellow card in the first half for when they kicked the ball away for a free
Yeah,
Yeah,
kick,
they
he
did.
did
They
that.
did.
which was great to see as an Arsenal supporter. Like
Yeah,
Exactly.
we've been
100%.
asking for that, so that was cool. I will say,
Yeah, I think Lewis tried to walk off the pitch like to
Yeah.
the halfway line,
yeah,
and
yeah,
there was no chance, bro, get behind the goal.
yeah.
And then it like they were pushing. I actually seen someone online today actually saying that it was only Gabriel that like stepped in to help Lewis when the Tottenham players surrounded him. And I'm like, we're defending a corner, bro. Lewis didn't need protected. He's getting pushed off. He's struggling off kid. He's getting pushed off the park. It's like there's
Yeah.
no need for any of it.
No, I don't think it was just Gabby. There was two others, and I can't remember who it was because I've seen that video so many times today.
Yeah.
It's
But it
unbelievable.
wasn't Ray stayed where he was, and so did Saliba. But I'm like,
Yeah.
we're away to defend a corner. Concentrate. I don't
Yeah.
care if Lewis gets pushed. Concentrate. We didn't quite come this because we didn't take our chances.
Yeah.
We're not waiting to drop points to Tottenham. So I didn't mind it at all. I thought like it was a
I
bit.
mean, obviously, we're praising our 18-year-old. I do want to praise the fact that Spurs had two 18-year-olds,
yeah,
and they did very well. They stepped up. They did very well in the game against what was the game they played the other day against Nottingham Forest? Was it Forest? No,
Yeah, Forest. No, they played Forest the other day as well. I think they drew 1-1, and then they played Tamworth.
Yeah. So they've stepped up, and it actually, they sort, including Lewis Skelly, like 3 18-year-olds in a North
Yeah.
London derby. It is just brilliant.
Do you know what? Archie Gray was absolutely brilliant
He was.
yesterday, and he's not even playing in his natural position either.
Oh, it was that game they played at the Emirates. No, they played at the Spurs ground, and he was made to play. Was it? Yeah, he was meant to play centre forward. He's not a forward, right? Centre forward.
Because he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a midfielder, isn't he, by trade?
Yeah.
But yesterday he was obviously
Because of the injuries. Yeah, he's had to. Yeah.
And then Jed Spence, if I'm right as well, he's actually a right back, but they're playing him at left back at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played well.
Him up. So the 3 18-year-olds really held their heads up high after in that game. So, but this is the only time you'll ever hear me be positive about Tottenham. So let's clip this up and take it out.
Well, let's wrap it up because we're done. Saturday, Villa. We're going to have Unai Emery back in the stadium, but this time we're out to get even from last season, right?
Yeah, 100%.
What are your takes? Both of you, what are your takes?
I mean, I think I always wonder. I feel like it paints a picture whenever the team selection comes out. So we are so limited right now. I wouldn't mind seeing the same exact 11. I think that 11 that we just saw is like arguably the best we can field right now. I think there's no way you take Lewis Skelly out. Granted, if everybody's in shape and in form, or just no knocks in training, I think you mirror that 11, and I just think.
Well, apparently we could have Calafiori back and Inweri.
So I didn't know that. I thought Ethan was still out.
Is he still out? Because I've kind of heard that. But he did mention Calafiori being back for this game, but obviously he wasn't. I don't even think he was in the stadium watching.
No, I didn't see anything about that.
And Inweri there. They were pitch side at one point.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't see Calafiori, so.
My worry for Aston Villa is that Unai just seems to have one up over on Arteta.
Yeah, but they haven't been doing very well, have they, Villa?
I know, because of Champions League, etc. So, But yeah, they just seem to turn up against Arsenal. But so, and without us being down to the bare bones, I'm hoping. Do you know what's I'm hoping, right? I know that they won't play, but I just hope that me Pulis a signing before Saturday. I think the dressing room, everything, everybody, the fans, everybody, we just need a lift.
Yeah, I agree.
We are honestly, we are skating at the moment on very thin ice, and it could go either way still.
Yeah.
We could fall out the top four because City are like 6 points behind them. I think they're more now.
Yeah.
But so we could go back the way just as well as we could go forward. And it's like we're kind of stuck on limbo. And it's only simply because we do not have the personnel to put in that park. I mean, the only difference that I would see in the lineup against Villa is Raheem didn't do anything to justify what he does. So Raheem comes out, and then we're looking at the bench with all these left backs, and if Arsenal need a goal, we're looking at Raheem Sterling to come off of the bench to change the game because there's no one else.
Yeah. Well, I don't know which match it was exactly, but I enjoyed seeing Odegaard and Nwaneri play together. That was interesting. If Ethan can play some type of wing, cool with me. I also wanted to hit at one point in the pod at some point. I know we're wrapping up shortly. I'm interested to. I haven't followed the youth team too closely this season. I'm usually there, but I'm interested to know. Surely there's some attacker or winger that could give us something. Even just put him on the bench, put him on at the 80th. I know we're running out of competitions to play, and we're only in 2 now. But I know we had like Sego Jr. play earlier this year in some Champions League. I'm sure, I am absolutely sure we have some young attacker that would benefit from some first team action.
Yeah.
That could help us somehow.
Unless of course the under 21s are doing very well.
Yeah.
I haven't actually checked up on, but if they are, then he ain't going to move any player over.
Yeah, we've had talent come through, so.
I just think the problem with that, I wouldn't disagree with you, and you're absolutely right, but I think the problem that you've got with that is at the moment we're not beating teams 3, 4, 5, 6
100%. No, I agree.
So we can't just throw them on. Like if we're 2-1, we're either 2-1 or it's 1-1 and we're searching for a goal. So that's where it becomes a bit more trickier. But I do agree. I think there's games that Saka stayed, there's dead ringer games that Saka shouldn't have played in. There's games that we were 5-0 up, and Saka was still on until like the 83rd minute. It's like pointless. Get him off the park. Do you know? And it's not just Saka. So you're absolutely right. This is where the academy should be coming for us.
Yeah. I mean, if you're fielding 4 left backs on the bench, surely you could field 2 left backs in a couple academy players. I just want to see some names. I just want to see everybody can offer a little bit of something different.
Yeah.
You know, so put a new face. I just want to see like if there's somebody, you know.
Well, maybe he has to do something that Ange had to do, get his back up against the wall and bring those academy players through into the first team because he had no choice.
Yeah.
So at some
I mean, we're almost there. We're almost at that point. Another injury, and we're gonna have to.
Maybe he's saving it for then. Who knows?
Do you know what? I'm not even joking about this, right? And I wish I was, but it's going right now with our forward players. I'm honestly looking at games thinking, bring Kivior on and put Gabriel up front because it's the only chance we've got at getting anything at all. It's like, do you know, it is getting to that desperate stage where it's like, it is getting to that
score prediction for the Villa game. I say 3-1.
I was just about to say that.
You can.
I want to start the way we started last match and go that way. Clean sheet would be cool. I'll say 2-0. I say we get back to a clean sheet because we can't seem to have those anymore. Get back to a clean sheet. We score early in the first half and then score around the 60th minute second half.
Yeah.
That was scored White Cubes from 2-0. I'm going for the clean sheet.
Cool. Good. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Of course. Thank you.
Had over an hour, which is brilliant. So we'll wrap this up. Thank you for everyone in the chat. Sorry, Daniel, and thank you, Brian. And we'll get on to the next one. So thank you. Stay online though, Kobe.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks, guys.